Welcome back. Now, our guest author, Bhekile Nkosi, has released his second book titled Lurking Behind Shadows, a tale of pain, betrayal, rejection, self-doubt and rediscovery. In this book, the writer, teacher and leader opens up about how he was lied about, vilified and trampled upon by the person he trusted the most. Well, without giving away too much of the book, let's now rope in Bhekile into the conversation. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Live. I mean, in your own words, give us a little bit, a synopsis of what the book is about.
If I may, it's basically three things, okay, that I want to achieve with the book. I'll start with the third one. The third one, a very short story. Two friends get stranded in a desert, and then they decide that we'll go separate ways and start praying. And then they start praying, and then the other one gets help. A cat comes through and he gets help, and he then mentions to the people that we got stranded here with my friend, and they then say, but let's go pick him up. He says, we agreed that whoever finds transport should just leave the other. And but they then persuade him to say, no, you know what, let's go get him. And then they go through to get him. And then he asks him, but we decided to pray. What did you pray about? Can I perhaps pause this?
You sure?
And then go through to the first one. The first one, it's basically putting my story out there. You know, I was a teacher and then got accused by a learner I was teaching, who was 13 years old, of rape, and which was a terrible thing. My case lasted for 26 months, 8 months of which I was in prison. So I'm basically putting the story out there. But the second one then would be learning to forgive the past. You know, after my case ended, a judge in a high court in Delmas said, you're not guilty, go home. And now can you imagine, I'm going back to a different world.
Yes.
You know, a world where I'm unemployed now, and people who admired me are looking at me with eyes of suspicion.
Yes.
They're not even sure whether I did it or not and whatever, you know. So I then had to start afresh. And then I moved to KZN to start teaching there. Yeah. So, but then going back to the story, then the friend then asked that, but what did you pray about? Then the friend then says, my prayer was, whatever my friend asks for, do it for him.
Sure.
So in a way, it's also my gratitude to the people who supported me. My mother, Christina Nomgqibelo Mahlangu, who is late, and Masike, and my friends, my family, and all that. It's basically that.
Yeah. Now, you know, you say that you wrote this book hoping the reader will see themselves in certain scenarios contained in the pages of this book. Tell us a little bit about that.
What I'm basically saying is the fact that one would think this is a unique story, but people go through similar incidences, similar stuffs and all that. So what I'm basically saying to people is, you know what, don't be too hard on yourself. You're not the only one, you know. But what we need to do then eventually is to move past the pain. I did that. Like I said, I think Bergville provided me that opportunity, you know, to start reflecting, to heal away from everything else. As a matter of fact, when I went to Bergville, I had applied for a post in Springs home, and got appointed for an SGP post and worked for 3 hours. There's a piece I wrote that my 3 hours of fame. I worked only for 3 hours. And the principal was approached by some teachers who knew about my story, and then they then said to him, you know what, our kids are not safe with him around. He had to release me. You know. So, and then the principal then said, you know what, I would advise you to consider applying outside of Gauteng. And that was the best advice I ever received. Then when I went to KZN, then I started healing. You know, I stayed for 10 years in KZN from 2005 right up to 2015. So that's basically, I'm basically saying to the people out there, you know what, read the story, and certain incidences could be similar to your story. But at the end of the day, learn to forgive the pain.
At what point did you know that you had forgiven this little girl? Yes, she's a child and she will make mistakes. She made a mistake as a child. It also does not take away from the what you had to go through as a human being, as you don't have a career anymore, you have to move. Do you know what I mean? At what point did you finally say, okay, I've forgiven, and what does forgiveness personally feel like?
When I worked in KZN, I sat in front of my PC and then I started writing. I was angry. I won't lie to you, I was very angry. I had sworn that I was going to sue the state, I was going to sue the kid and everything. But now I speak about 3 scenarios in the book, and one of which, around my case, there were stories that the child was raped by a stepfather, and there was also a colleague that I'm speak about here who was adamant that I have to go back to prison. And coincidentally, the same colleague happened to be a Mahlangu, because I was using the Mahlangu surname. So, but I then delved deeper into all those things. And in my mind, I was saying, but what if the child was actually raped by any man other than me? It's unacceptable, Auslebo. So I then thought to myself, you know what, let me forgive her. I actually went to an extent of going through to her home, and we had a conference in Davidson, and I approached her and I said to her, you know what, you almost cost me my life.
Yeah.
You know, but I've forgiven you. It's in the past.
What did she say?
I did not give her an opportunity to cook up, a lame excuse and say, no, this is what happened, and all that. I left it to her. Because if she has a conscience, because she's older now, if she has a conscience, she should be able to say, but I have to correct my wrongs and all that, So that is basically what I then did,
Now, you speak to us about the decision to keep some of the words or passages in the book. There's isiZulu, isiNdebele, Sesotho, instead of translating them in English. Why that decision to keep those words genuine and original?
Auslebo, there's Sotho words, there's Sotho phrases that only sound better when you say them in Sotho.
Yeah.
So I decided that, you know what, let me not distort not necessarily the meaning, but the deeper meaning of the word. Let me keep them as they are, So that's basically it. But the book is also celebrating the fact that we are diverse cultures and all that. I mean, whoever reads it would actually see themselves there.
All right. You know what? Congratulations on the book. You're a bigger man than most that I know. But congratulations on the book. Where's the book available?
The book is available from me. It's actually it's self-published.
Yes.
It's actually available from me. And since then, I've actually started a small publishing house, Mastolica's publishing house, in honor of my aunt Evelyn. Her nickname was Mastolika. Evelyn Mahlangu has since passed. And so what I then do, I would like to afford other young people a platform to actually tell their stories as well.
All right. Congratulations on the book. Thank you so much for telling your story. Writer, teacher, leader, Bhekile Nkosi, and he's been speaking to us about his second book, and it's titled Lurking Behind Shadows. All right. Let's say good morning to Kate Rook for our music performance.
Wil jou groet in jou moeder se taal. Ek wil al jou stories en digkuns